Have you ever met someone who feels everything, a little too much? Someone who can sense your sadness without a word? Someone who smiles softly, but carries storms inside? Maybe that person is you. Today, we're talking about Pisces. But not in the way you've heard before. Because Pisces is more than just the sensitive sign. They are the final chapter of the Zodiac. The old soul. The healer nobody notices. And the one who carries emotional scars, hidden behind quiet eyes. But here's the truth no one tells you. Their sensitivity isn't a weakness. It's a sacred power. In this video, we'll uncover why Pisces is often called God's chosen one. Why their struggles, their heartbreaks, and even their silence are signs of something much deeper. If you're a Pisces, or love someone who is, stay until the end. Because understanding Pisces means understanding a part of the human soul itself. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click like if you've ever felt misunderstood. And share this video with someone who needs a little emotional healing today. Now, let's dive into the unseen world of Pisces. And discover why their quiet heart holds more power than you ever imagined. Have you ever felt like you're carrying emotions that don't even belong to you? Like walking into a room and instantly sensing something's wrong, without anyone saying a word? If that sounds familiar, you might be closer to the heart of Pisces than you realize. Because that's their everyday experience. They feel everything. Every glance. Every silence. Every unspoken word. And yet, they keep it all inside. But here's the twist. What most people see as vulnerability is actually Pisces' hidden strength. Think about it. In a world where everyone rushes to protect themselves, to build walls and avoid pain, Pisces dares to feel. They dare to carry not only their own sadness but the weight of others too. They're the friend who checks on you at 2 a.m. The stranger who smiles softly when they sense you're having a hard day. And they don't do it for praise. They do it because they can't help it. It's in their soul. This deep sensitivity comes from something bigger than personality. Astrologers call Pisces the old soul of the Zodiac for a reason. They're the last sign. The final lesson. The point where life's cycle ends, and spiritual reflection begins. Pisces isn't here to conquer. They're here to understand. That's why their strength looks different. Quiet. Gentle. But unbreakable. Like the ocean, soft on the surface, yet holding unimaginable depth underneath. What's fascinating is how their empathy affects their everyday life. Maybe you know someone like this. The person who cries during movies, who gets overwhelmed in crowds, who avoids conflict even when they're right. They're not weak. They're absorbing. They're processing. They're carrying emotions that others don't even notice. And yes, it's exhausting. Pisces often feels emotionally tired without knowing why. Because their heart is like an antenna, picking up every emotional frequency around them. But this ability to feel is also what makes them healers. When Pisces listens to you, they're not waiting for their turn to speak. They're there. Fully present. Absorbing your words, your energy, your pain. They don't always offer advice. Sometimes, they just sit quietly beside you, and somehow, you feel lighter. That's their silent gift. They don't need to fix you. They hold space for you to heal yourself. Yet this emotional depth comes at a price. Many Pisces carry silent wounds from childhood. You might notice it in the way they hesitate before trusting someone new. Or how they sometimes blame themselves when things go wrong. That's because their soul remembers pain longer than their mind does. Childhood for Pisces isn't just a memory. It's an emotional imprint. If they were loved deeply as children, you'll see it in their kindness. If they were neglected, you'll see it in their endless need to save others. They become the love they once missed. And perhaps that's why Pisces has this strange habit of romanticizing life itself. It's not just about love stories or fairy tales. It's how they survive. When the world feels too heavy, they dream. They imagine a better tomorrow. They see beauty in small things, a morning coffee, a favorite song, a quiet walk. They create magic not because life gave it to them, but because their soul needs it to keep going. It's a coping mechanism, but also their superpower. Now, imagine what this does in relationships. Loving a Pisces can feel like living in poetry. They'll notice the smallest details about you. Your favorite scent. The way your voice changes when you're tired. They'll send you messages just to say they're thinking of you. Not because they want attention, but because your happiness becomes part of their emotional world. That's how deeply they connect. And yet, they rarely ask for the same in return. It's this quiet generosity that makes them so easy to overlook, and so easy to break without realizing. But here's something every Pisces needs to hear. Feeling deeply doesn't make you fragile. It makes you rare. Your ability to sit with someone's pain, to carry their emotions without needing to be asked, that's a sacred gift in a world that's forgotten how to slow down and feel. So protect that gift. Choose who you give your energy to. Set boundaries not because you're selfish, but because your empathy deserves to be respected. And for those who love a Pisces, remember this. Sometimes, when they withdraw, it's not rejection. It's survival. Sometimes, when they say I'm fine, they're carrying too much to explain. Be patient. Be present. And let them know they don't have to carry the world alone. Because behind every quiet Pisces is a heart that's tired, but still chooses to love. A soul that's broken, but still chooses to heal others. And a mind that dreams, not because life is easy, but because dreaming is the only way they know how to keep believing. So the next time you meet someone who feels too much, who loves too softly, who seems to disappear when hurt, look deeper. You might just be standing in front of a Pisces, the old soul of the Zodiac, the silent healer, and maybe God's chosen one. Have you ever wondered why some people can't say no, even when they're exhausted, even when they're hurting? You might think they're weak or naive. But for Pisces, saying yes is part of their soul. Their need to help, to heal, to say yes even when their heart is heavy, comes from something deeper than kindness. It's how they try to prove they're worth loving. Imagine someone who always shows up for others. Even when they're drained. Even when they feel invisible. That's Pisces. Their compassion isn't just a choice, it's an instinct. But here's the problem, not everyone they help deserves their light. Some people take. Some manipulate. Some see Pisces as an easy target. And for a while, Pisces lets them. They give and give until one day they can't anymore. That's the moment when Pisces learns one of life's hardest lessons. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It's survival. And when Pisces finally says no, when they finally walk away, it's not anger. It's wisdom. They've learned to see who values their soul and who only uses it. If you're a Pisces listening right now, remember this. Saying no doesn't make you cruel. It makes you free. You don't owe your healing to those who break you. But here's where the story turns. People often think Pisces is soft, quiet, easy to control. That's a mistake. Because while Pisces waits patiently, they're watching. They're feeling everything. And when their limits are crossed, they won't explode. They won't scream. Instead, they'll speak. And their words will cut through like lightning. Not cruel. Just true. Pisces' silence is never weakness. It's patience. And when they decide to defend themselves, their honesty becomes their sharpest weapon. It's like that moment when someone you always underestimated suddenly tells you exactly who you are, and you realize they've known all along. That's Pisces. They won't humiliate you. But they will reflect your actions back to you, clearer and sharper than you're ready for. And after that? They might forgive you. But they'll never forget where the pain came from. Now, think about this. Have you ever argued with someone, not to understand them, but just to prove you're right? If you've done that to a Pisces, you've probably hurt them more than you know. Because Pisces doesn't need to win arguments. They need to feel understood. Contradiction, when it's constant and unnecessary, feels like betrayal to them. It's not about ego. It's about connection. Pisces navigates life with their heart. They trust their intuition. So when someone challenges them just to dismiss their feelings, it cuts deeper than logic. It tells them their emotions aren't safe with you. That's why Pisces withdraws when they feel emotionally attacked. Not because they're weak, but because they're protecting something sacred, their inner peace. If you love a Pisces, listen when they speak. Not just to their words, but to their silence. If they pull away, ask yourself, are you hearing them? Or just defending yourself? Emotional safety is everything to Pisces. When they feel it, they open like a flower. When they don't, they vanish like mist. And then, there's that moment. The moment when Pisces, who's been trying, forgiving, understanding, simply stops. They stop explaining. Stop apologizing. Stop giving their energy to people who only take. And when that happens, it's over. Pisces leaves silently. Not to punish you, but to save themselves. You'll look around one day and realize they're gone. Not out of anger. Out of peace. Because Pisces was never here to carry everyone's chaos. They were here to heal and to grow. And sometimes, growth means leaving behind those who refuse to meet you halfway. If you're a Pisces, know this: walking away doesn't make you heartless. It makes you wise. Protecting your energy is how you honor your soul's purpose. And for those who've lost a Pisces, remember, they didn't leave to hurt you. They left to find themselves again. What's powerful about Pisces is their grace in departure. No drama. No revenge. Just quiet dignity. A soft exit. Like a prayer for a better life. One where they're finally allowed to be loved as deeply as they love. And yet, even in their silence, Pisces never truly lets go. Their heart remembers everything. The love. The pain. The silence. All of it. Stored deep in their soul, long after the world has moved on. But why? Why can't Pisces forget? Why do they carry emotional memories like sacred treasures? Even when they hurt? That is something we'll uncover very soon. Because in the final part of this journey, the last 3 truths about Pisces will reveal their most hidden pain, their deepest purpose, and their most controversial secret of all. Stay with me. What comes next might change the way you see Pisces forever. Have you ever met someone who struggles to function when life gets too loud? Someone who seems to shut down. Not because they're weak, but because the pressure around them is simply too much? This is something most people don't understand about Pisces. They aren't built for constant demands. They're not meant to fight through chaos. When they're overwhelmed, they don't just feel stressed, their mind freezes. Their emotions spiral. And suddenly, even simple tasks feel impossible. This isn't laziness. It's not avoidance. It's the way their soul protects itself from overload. Because Pisces processes life emotionally. Every decision. Every responsibility. Every conflict. It all passes through their heart before it reaches their mind. That's why pressure feels like suffocation to them. It blocks their connection to their own wisdom. And when that happens, they lose themselves. If you know a Pisces, be gentle when they're silent. When they seem absent. When they say, "I can't think right now." They're not pushing you away. They're fighting to breathe inside. Give them space. Give them silence. And when they return, they'll bring you answers no one else could give. Because when Pisces feels safe, their creativity flows like water. Ideas, solutions, visions that others can't see. But when they're under pressure, that flow dries up. Their gifts disappear. Not forever. Just until they feel peace again. Now, here's something few people notice. A Pisces adult personality often mirrors their childhood emotional experiences. They carry their past inside them like a secret story. If they were loved, supported, and believed in as children, they'll move through life with quiet confidence. But if they were criticized, abandoned, or emotionally neglected, their soul remembers. You can see it in how they hesitate before speaking, how they apologize for their feelings, how they give too much and expect nothing back. Their inner child still searches for the love it missed. And that's why many Pisces overcompensate. They help everyone. They heal everyone, hoping someone will see their worth. But healing others won't heal your childhood. Only you can do that. If you're a Pisces, look back. Not to blame, but to understand. Your need for emotional connection, your fear of rejection, your struggle to trust, they all began long before today. And healing them doesn't mean forgetting. It means forgiving. Forgiving those who couldn't love you properly. And forgiving yourself for believing you weren't enough. One of the most beautiful things about Pisces is their universal soul. They connect with people far beyond surface differences. Culture, language, age, even belief systems, none of that matters to them. When you sit down with a Pisces, you don't just have a conversation. You share a moment of soul recognition. They listen differently. They feel your emotions beneath your words. That's why people open up to them so easily. They're not trying to fix you. They're trying to understand you. And in that connection, something powerful happens. You feel safe. You feel seen. You feel human. Because Pisces doesn't care where you're from, what title you hold, or what mistakes you've made. They care about your heart. They're drawn to your pain. Not to judge it, but to soothe it. That's why a simple talk with a Pisces can feel like coming home. But it's also why Pisces often feels emotionally drained after social interactions. Absorbing pain, even silently, takes energy. It's why they need solitude after being around too many people. Not because they're antisocial, but because they've absorbed too much. They need to return to themselves. To remember who they are, beneath everyone else's emotions. And yet, despite all of this emotional depth, Pisces is one of the most determined signs in the zodiac. Yes, you heard that right. They may seem soft, dreamy, always lost in thought. But when a Pisces wants something, nothing can stop them. Their motivation isn't logical. It's emotional. When they believe something matters, when their heart feels connected to a dream, they'll chase it with everything they have. People underestimate Pisces because their strength is quiet. They don't fight like warriors. They persist like rivers. They flow around obstacles. They find new paths. They trust the journey. And they keep moving, even when it hurts. Even when they doubt themselves. Even when everyone else has given up. If you've ever seen a Pisces fight for someone they love, you know what I'm talking about. They don't need applause. They don't need rewards. They just need to believe that what they're fighting for matters. And when they do, they're unstoppable. It's a quiet kind of resilience. But it's the kind that changes lives. So, if you're a Pisces, or if you love one, remember this. Their sensitivity doesn't weaken their determination. It fuels it. Their emotions aren't a distraction from their goals. They're the reason they keep going. Because when a Pisces commits to something, whether it's a person, a dream, or a purpose, they give their soul to it. And that is the hidden strength of Pisces. But the journey isn't over yet. Because what comes next are the final 3 truths about Pisces. The ones most people never talk about. The secrets that explain their deepest wounds, their highest purpose, and their most misunderstood behavior. In the next chapter, we'll uncover the part of Pisces the world often gets wrong. And what you'll learn might just change how you see love itself. Stay with me. The most powerful lessons are still waiting. Have you ever wondered why Pisces takes heartbreak harder than most? Why a single betrayal can shake their entire world? The answer is simple, but not easy. When a Pisces loves, they don't just open their heart. They give their soul. They invest every hidden part of themselves into that connection. And when that love breaks, so does a part of them. Heartbreak isn't just pain for Pisces. It's transformation. Every ending feels like a personal failure. Not because they believe love should last forever, but because they believe their love could heal anything. And when it doesn't, they're forced to face their deepest shadows. Insecurities rise. Feelings of unworthiness appear. Old childhood wounds come back to life. That's why when a Pisces falls apart, it's not just sadness. It's a full collapse of their emotional identity. But here's the part most people miss. That collapse is also their rebirth. Pisces doesn't numb their pain. They sit with it. They drown in it. And then, somehow, they swim back to the surface. Stronger. Softer. Wiser. Every heartbreak becomes a lesson in letting go. A lesson in self-love. A reminder that not everyone deserves their depth. And when Pisces loves again, they love differently. Not less. But with clearer boundaries. Heartbreak for Pisces isn't the end. It's a sacred reset. A way of clearing space for a new, truer version of themselves. And maybe that's what makes them so special. Their ability to be broken and yet still choose love. But their gift doesn't stop there. When life brings darkness, when sadness weighs heavy, when hope feels far away, Pisces is the one who stays. Not to fix. Not to preach. But simply to be there. Have you ever had someone sit beside you, in silence, and somehow that silence said everything you needed to hear? That's Pisces. Their greatest gift is presence. When you're lost in your pain, when you can't even speak, Pisces won't ask you to explain. They won't push you to feel better. They'll just sit there, holding space, waiting for your storm to pass. Their empathy is quiet. But it's unshakable. They absorb your pain, not because they want to, but because they know how heavy it feels. And in their presence, you heal, without even realizing it. What's beautiful is that Pisces never expects anything in return. They don't count favors. They don't ask for recognition. Their love is pure. Unconditional. They'll check on you when no one else does. They'll hold your hand when you don't have the strength to ask. And often, they'll disappear quietly once you're okay again. Not because they want to, but because they believe that's what you need. But there's a hidden truth behind their loyalty. Pisces waits. And waits. And forgives. And tries. But when you push them too far, when you hurt them repeatedly, when their soul is tired, something shifts. You won't hear an argument. You won't see an outburst. You'll just feel silence. Because Pisces doesn't always leave with words. They leave with absence. At first, you might think they're just quiet. That they'll come back. But this silence is different. It's their way of saying, enough. They've given all they could. And now, they need to protect what's left. And when Pisces disappears, it's rarely temporary. Sometimes for 3 days. Sometimes forever. Their silence isn't punishment. It's healing. A sacred withdrawal to protect their heart from breaking again. And if you've ever felt that silence, you'll know, it's louder than any goodbye. But even when they walk away, even when they fall silent, Pisces doesn't forget. That's one of their most painful truths. They carry emotional memories like old letters stored in a box. Not because they can't let go, but because their heart won't let them. Every moment, every word, every goodbye, it stays. They revisit their past like a story they're still trying to understand. They remember not just what happened, but how it felt. That's why they struggle to move on. A song, a scent, a simple glance can pull them back to moments they wish they'd forgotten. Not out of choice, but out of emotional memory. But this isn't weakness. It's compassion in its purest form. By remembering their own pain, Pisces understands others better. They empathize with wounds they've never lived. They comfort hurts they've never known. Because they've felt everything. Sometimes twice. If you're a Pisces, know this: you're allowed to let go of memories that hurt you. Holding on doesn't make you loyal. Letting go doesn't make you unkind. Your soul deserves peace. Your heart deserves rest. And if you love a Pisces, understand that when they drift back to the past, they're not trying to stay stuck. They're searching for closure their soul never received. That's the depth of Pisces. But as deep as they go, we're not finished yet. Because the last 3 truths waiting in this journey will reveal the soul of Pisces in ways you've never seen before. Secrets about their kindness, their sensitivity, and their most controversial trait. Stay with me. What comes next might just change how you see love itself. Kindness. For Pisces, it's not a choice. It's their nature. They don't wake up thinking, who should I help today? They just help. They listen. They offer their time, their energy, even their soul, without expecting anything in return. That's what confuses people. Pisces doesn't seek praise. They're not chasing attention. They give, because that's who they are. Think about that for a moment. In a world where most people ask, what's in it for me? Pisces quietly asks, how can I ease your pain? Whether it's sitting beside a sad friend, helping a stranger, or simply offering their presence without judgment, they do it naturally. Softly. Consistently. Their kindness doesn't come from obligation. It comes from their soul. But this quiet generosity can make them invisible. People get used to Pisces being there. To Pisces saying yes. To Pisces giving more than they should. And that's where Pisces often gets hurt. Because they're not pretending to be good. They are good. And not everyone knows how to handle a heart like that. If you're a Pisces, remember, giving is beautiful. But you don't need to bleed to prove your kindness. It's okay to rest. It's okay to say no. Your worth isn't measured by how much you give. Sometimes, the greatest kindness you can offer is to yourself. And for those who love a Pisces, please don't wait until they're exhausted to appreciate them. Notice their quiet support. Value their small acts of love. Let them know their presence matters. Because behind every kind Pisces is a heart that hopes you'll love them back with the same purity they offer the world. Now, there's one last truth we need to talk about. One that's often misunderstood. People say Pisces is too sensitive, too emotional, too reactive. But what if I told you, their sensitivity is exactly why they were chosen to feel so much? You see, Pisces doesn't feel every mood, every unspoken word, every silent sadness by accident. It's not a flaw. It's their bridge to the human soul. Because of their sensitivity, they notice when your voice trembles. They sense when your smile is forced. They feel when you're hurting, even when you don't say a word. And they respond, not with solutions, but with presence. Their sensitivity makes them real. Vulnerable, yes. But also honest. They cry when they're moved. They laugh when they feel joy. They hurt when you hurt. And that, in today's disconnected world, is a gift. For Pisces, emotions aren't problems to solve. They're connections to nurture. That's why their relationships feel so deep. Their friendships so loyal. Their love so unconditional. Their sensitivity doesn't make them fragile. It makes them human, in the purest sense of the word. So if you're a Pisces listening now, don't harden your heart to survive. Keep feeling. Keep loving. That's your strength. That's your purpose. And if the world ever tells you that you're too sensitive, smile. Because what they see as weakness is actually your most divine power. And if you love a Pisces, understand this: their tears aren't a sign they're broken. Their emotions aren't chaos. They're love, in its rawest, most honest form. So, what have we learned today? Pisces isn't just a zodiac sign. They're the soul of the zodiac. A quiet healer. A silent warrior. A dreamer who dares to love, even after being hurt. They carry the weight of others, yet still choose to give more. They get lost in their emotions, yet always find their way back to love. Their life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about transforming it. Maybe, after all this, you see yourself in Pisces. Or maybe you understand someone you love a little better. Either way, I hope you carry this truth with you: being sensitive isn't a curse. It's a calling. If you felt connected to this journey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit like if this touched your heart, even just a little. And please, share this video with someone who needs to hear these words. Someone who might be silently carrying more than they show. There's so much more to explore in the world of astrology, psychology, and the human soul. And I promise, the next videos will take you even deeper. Into new signs, new stories, and new ways of understanding yourself. So stay curious, stay kind, and remember, the world needs hearts like yours. I'll see you in the next video.